Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a truth that will either wake you up or break you down. Everything you are right now, every victory you've had, every failure you carry, every dream you've abandoned, is a reflection of the power of your mind. The most valuable weapon you own isn't in your hands, it isn't your money, it isn't even your body, it's your mind, and yet most people live as prisoners inside their own head. Slaves to doubt, slaves to fear, slaves to excuses. I want you to imagine this for a second. If I could take your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, and project them onto a screen right now, would you be proud of what you see, or would you be embarrassed to admit how weak, how negative, how self-defeating those thoughts have become? Because here's the truth, your mind is either your jailer or your liberator. It's either building the life you want, or it's destroying it before it even begins. Your mind is the most powerful force you have, and whether you understand it or not, it is shaping the reality you live in right now. Every choice you make, every opportunity you see or ignore, every limitation you accept or reject, all of it begins in your head. Life is not happening to you randomly. It is a direct reflection of the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. If you constantly think you are unlucky, if you constantly believe that nothing good happens to you, then your actions will align with that belief, and the world will hand you proof that you were right. But if you believe that opportunities exist, if you believe you are capable of greatness, your mind will filter reality to find paths toward that belief. The car you drive, the home you live in, the health of your body, even the quality of your relationships, everything started as a thought. It was once an image or belief in your mind before it became tangible in your life. Most people don't realize how much control they have, so they waste their lives playing the role of the victim. They point fingers at circumstances, at their upbringing, at the unfairness of the world. But the truth is this: those who win and those who lose are often placed in the same world with the same challenges, but their outcomes are completely different because of how they choose to think. Your thoughts are like architects. They design the life you live. Weak thoughts build a weak life. Strong thoughts build a strong one. If you believe money is impossible to earn, you will subconsciously avoid opportunities to create wealth. If you believe no one will ever love you, you will carry yourself in ways that push love away. But if you believe in your ability to succeed, if you believe you can build something meaningful, your actions will naturally move in that direction until it becomes reality. Everything extraordinary in history began in someone's mind before the world ever saw it. Airplanes were once a fantasy until someone refused to believe otherwise. Empires were once a vision before they became nations. Athletes saw victory in their imagination before trophies were ever lifted. It always starts with a mind powerful enough to believe in what doesn't yet exist. The world bends to strong minds and crushes weak ones. That's why protecting and strengthening your mind should be your first priority. You must guard what you feed it, because it doesn't discriminate. If you feed it fear, it will grow fear. If you feed it excuses, it will grow excuses. But if you feed it courage, discipline, and belief, it will create a reality worth living. So understand this: your life right now is not the limit of what you can achieve. It is simply the product of what your mind has believed up to this point. Change your beliefs, change your thoughts, and you will change your reality. Pain is not just physical. Pain is mental first. Long before your body gives up, your mind decides it can't handle it anymore. That's why two people can face the exact same struggle and come out with completely different outcomes. One breaks, the other pushes through. One quits, the other keeps moving. The difference is not in muscles, not in circumstances, not even in resources. It's in the mind. The strongest people are not the ones who feel the least pain. They are the ones who have taught their mind how to endure it. Every time life hits you, the first battlefield is in your head. You feel pressure, you feel resistance, you feel the urge to quit. But pain itself does not destroy you. The story you tell yourself about the pain is what determines whether you survive or give in. If you say this is too much, your body will follow and collapse. If you say I can handle more, your body finds a way to obey. Pain is a liar, but your mind decides whether to listen to that lie. Look at champions, soldiers, fighters, entrepreneurs. Their bodies have been pushed beyond limb. it's most people couldn't even imagine. Their muscles screamed, their lungs burned, their hearts raced, and everything inside them told them to stop. Yet they didn't stop. Why? Because their mind refused to accept that pain was stronger than them. Pain lives in the brain first, and if your brain bows to it, your life will bow as well. But if your brain rejects it, you gain power most people will never understand. Most people lose to pain because they have trained their mind to love comfort. They've taught themselves that the smallest inconvenience is unbearable. They run from challenges, from discomfort, from resistance. And because of that, the moment life hits hard, they collapse. They weren't defeated by life. They were defeated by their own untrained mind. Pain becomes unbearable when you have no mental armor. But when your mind is built with discipline and resilience, pain is just another step toward victory. The truth is, pain is the entry fee to greatness. You cannot have strength without pain. You cannot have growth without pain. You cannot achieve anything extraordinary while running from it. And since pain is inevitable in life, your only choice is whether you will let it control you or you will control it. The moment you rewire your mind to see pain as a test, as fuel, as proof that you are growing, it loses its power over you. The suffering is temporary, but the results are forever. Understand this clearly. You do not lose when you feel pain. You lose when you surrender to it in your mind. You do not win by avoiding pain. You win by deciding mentally that no amount of it will ever make you quit. Once your mind makes that decision, your body will obey. That is the secret of resilience, and that is the secret of victory. Discipline is not about waking up early, going to the gym, or working long hours. That's just the surface. Discipline is the true demonstration of mental power. It is the ability to command yourself and obey your own orders, regardless of how you feel. Most people never understand this because they live enslaved by their emotions. If they feel tired, they rest. If they feel lazy, they procrastinate. If they feel scared, they avoid. Their life is dictated by moods instead of decisions. That's why they remain average. Discipline is the opposite of that weakness. Discipline is when your mind gives an order and your body follows without negotiation. The strongest people are not the ones who wait for motivation to show up. Motivation is temporary, it's emotional, it disappears the moment things get tough. Discipline doesn't disappear, it doesn't ask how you feel, it doesn't care about comfort, it cares only about execution. Discipline is when your alarm rings at 5 a.m. and instead of arguing with yourself, you get up because your mind has already decided who is in charge. Discipline is when your body says, I'm tired, but your mind says, we're not done yet, and you keep going anyway. That is mental power, and that is the foundation of every form of greatness. Every champion, every leader, every person who has built something that lasted did it through discipline. They didn't always want to. They didn't always feel strong. They didn't always feel confident. But their mind was trained to do what was necessary whether they felt like it or not. That's why discipline beats talent. That's why discipline beats luck. Because when the talented get lazy, the disciplined keep working. When the lucky waste their opportunity, the disciplined create new ones. Discipline ensures consistency, and consistency creates results that emotions never will. Most people look at successful individuals and think they are different. They think they have better genetics, better resources, better chances. But in reality, the difference is simple. One group let their emotions control them. The other group mastered discipline. Discipline is the real superpower because it proves that your mind is stronger than the noise inside your head. When you become disciplined, you take back control from fear, laziness, doubt, and weakness. You no longer wait to feel like it. You act regardless. So understand this. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. Freedom from being a slave to your emotions. Freedom from regret. Freedom from the life you don't want. If you cannot control yourself, you cannot control your future. And if you can master yourself, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. Discipline is not just a habit. It is mental power in its purest form. The moment you make discipline your standard, your reality transforms because your mind finally proves to the world that you are in command. Fear is one of the greatest illusions ever created by the human mind. It feels so real, so powerful, yet most of the time it doesn't even exist outside of your imagination. Think about it. How many times in your life have you been afraid of something, only to realize later that nothing actually happened? You were terrified of failure, but when you tried, you discovered it wasn't as bad as you imagined. You were scared of rejection, but when it finally came, you survived it. You worried about situations for days, weeks, or months. And when they arrived, they were never as catastrophic as your mind had made them seem. That's because fear lives in the mind, not in reality. The mind creates stories of disaster, stories of humiliation, stories of defeat, and then convinces you to surrender before the battle even begins. This is why so many people never even start. They dream of building a business but never take the first step because their mind whispers, "What if you fail?" They want to get in shape, but never walk into the gym because their mind tells them, people will laugh at you. They want to chase a dream, but stay stuck in mediocrity because their mind convinces them it's safer not to try. Fear kills more dreams than failure ever could. Failure at least teaches you. Failure builds strength. But fear keeps you frozen, trapped in the same place, watching your life waste away. And the worst part is, most fear is nothing more than a lie. An exaggeration created by your own imagination. The truth is, fear is not a wall blocking you, it's a shadow. It looks big until you walk toward it, and then you realize there's nothing there. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of fear. Every strong person you admire, every champion, every leader, every fighter, they all feel fear. They just refuse to let it control them. They see fear and still move forward, while everyone else runs away. That's why they stand on podiums while others sit in the crowd. That's why they build legacies while others waste their lives in safety. Understand this, fear is not here to destroy you. Fear is here to test you. It is asking one question every time it shows up. Are you strong enough to move anyway? The moment you stop running and face your fears, you grow. The moment you realize fear only lives in your mind, you break the chains holding you back. You don't need to eliminate fear, you need to master it. And the only way to master it is to stop listening to the lies your brain tells you and prove to yourself that you are stronger than the shadows in your head. Once you do that, life opens up. Opportunities appear. Strength grows, freedom comes, because fear may live in the mind, but so does courage. And the one you choose to feed will decide the life you live. Legacy does not begin with action, it begins with vision. Every great achievement in history, every empire that rose, every invention that changed the world, every athlete that broke records, every leader that transformed nations, it all started first in the mind. Long before anyone else could see it, the person who made it happen had already seen it clearly in their imagination. They believed it when no one else did. They carried it in their mind long before the world respected it. That's how legacy is built. It's not chance, it's not luck. It's the refusal to let go of the vision you hold inside your head. Most people never leave a legacy because they never dare to think beyond survival. They wake up, go to work, pay bills, and repeat the cycle until they die. They never imagine more. They never demand more. They never dare to see themselves as someone capable of leaving a mark. Their mind is trapped in smallness, and so their life stays small. But those who leave legacies think differently. They see themselves bigger than their circumstances. They imagine a future that doesn't yet exist, and they convince themselves it must become real. That belief is what pushes them to act with relentless persistence when others quit. That belief is what fuels them when the world doubts them. Your legacy is not written in stone or on paper. It is written first in your thoughts. If your mind cannot picture it, you will never live it. If your mind cannot believe it, you will never build it. That's why some people live and die without anyone remembering their name, while others live forever through the impact they made. The difference is in the mental blueprint they carried. Legacy is the result of obsession, an idea planted so deeply in the mind that it refuses to die. It grows, it burns, it takes over until action becomes inevitable. When you think of those who changed the course of history, realize this. They were not given special powers at birth. They were not chosen by fate. They simply made a choice in their mind to believe in something greater than themselves, and they held that belief until it became reality. The world eventually caught up to the vision they already had. That is the power of the mind, and that is how legacy is written. So the question is, what story are you telling yourself about your life? Do you see yourself as someone ordinary, someone destined to be forgotten, or do you see yourself as someone who will leave a mark? Because whatever you choose to see will be the truth you live. Legacy is not built in the future, it is built in your mind right now. Plant the seed, water it with belief, protect it with discipline, and one day the world will remember you for it. Your legacy begins in your imagination, and if you dare to see it, you will one day live it. At the end of it all, everything comes back to the power of your mind. Your reality is not random. It is built by your thoughts. Every victory, every failure, every decision you make starts first in your head. If you think weak, you will live weak. If you think strong, you will live strong. Your mind is the steering wheel of your life, and wherever you allow it to turn, that is where you will end up. Pain, fear, discipline, legacy, they all live in the mind. Pain is either the reason you quit or the reason you grow, depending on how your mind decides to interpret it. Fear is either the cage that keeps you trapped or the challenge that forces you to rise. Discipline is either the weight you resist or the mental power that frees you from mediocrity. And legacy, it is either the story you never write or the vision you see so clearly in your mind that you refuse to leave this earth without making it real. Understand this, no one is coming to rescue you. No one can fight the battles inside your head except you. Life will not hand you greatness. You must claim it, and it begins with mastering your mind. If you can train it, discipline it, and command it, there is nothing that can stop you. Not pain, not fear, not doubt, not failure. So the choice is yours right now. You can keep living as a prisoner of your own thoughts, or you can rise up and take control. Master your mind, and you master your destiny. The power has always been inside you. The question is, will you finally use it? THX for watching.